Excellent crew. Joe Lindsay, Michael Irving, Lee Cassell. Creighton and San Diego State meeting for the 9th time. And they played last year in the NCAA tournament. San Diego State had a big lead late. Creighton rallied. 9-0 run to force overtime, and then they got it done in the first round with a victory. All right, few keys, Jimmy, that you're keeping an eye on here.
Well, obviously, we've spoken about two things. The blend of Creighton's offense. Which one of those guys, and each and every one of those guys, can have a big game. They've done that all season long, so it'll be interesting to see who gets identified as the guy who's playing up. And defensively, it's consistent for San Diego State. Everyone defends.
Bradley got off to a slow start in that victory over Alabama. Hit a big jump shot late, though. Here's Bradley, shot clock at 10.
Coming out to defend him, though, on the switch.
Feed it. Mensah challenging Kalkbrenner, and he banks it in.
So that's a very good start for San Diego State for a guy who averages about 6 points. They don't feature him in the post. They feature him defensively at that end of the floor.
The Aztecs have 7 seniors in this 9-man rotation.
You are going to see pressure on everyone on the perimeter. Nobody's going to get a free shot if San Diego State can help it.
Alexander gives it up. Kaluma one-on-one with Bradley. Shot clock at 7. What a fake. Kaluma off-balance delivery. Gets the roll around the world and down.
And Bradley played him very well. Keep in mind, Bradley for San Diego State, a terrific defender, and he made Kaluma work and pivot and spin. Nice effort from both guys just then to start.
Butler out front, hands it off for Bradley, the senior. Creighton fans were looking for a travel. San Diego State had that 71-64 win over #1 Alabama Friday night. Bradley once again off the mark, and it's going the other way, knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Kaluma working against Bradley down on the blocks, but watch all the turns that he has to go into. He's making all sorts of maneuvers just to get this soft touch on the rim, and it drops early.
Kaluma double digits in 25 games this season. And Kaluma played well in that matchup against Princeton on Friday night, 86-75. Not a whole lot early. Jumper, Alexander, he's been playing with a lot of confidence. Look who's there, Kaluma, offensive board. Shireman made 5 threes the other night against the Tigers.
They have to go backdoor one of these sets just to loosen up this defense from outside.
Alexander, ball fake, floated up, a slam. Kalkbrenner with a flush on a special delivery from Alexander.
Yeah, and there's a tendency when San Diego State, when they come out quickly like this, they're pressuring so much. An experienced offensive unit like Creighton is will do that. It's almost as good as a backdoor cut.
The jumper is pure. Lamont Butler with a downtown hit.
You get his head in the game, 1 for 7 the last game out, so a good start for a guy who struggled also from the field.
5-4 lead for the Aztecs. Kaluma, touch out front. Johnson extends out defensively. Shot clock is down to 10. Nembhard will run things.
Nice screen out front.
Pull up pop.
Wow.
Just grazes the rim barely. Rebounded by Butler. Butler tried to blast it towards the rim. Instead, it's Johnson. Air ball on a 3. Out of bounds.
Little anxiety out there early on for shooters.
Watch live men's games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Scan the QR code right now to download.
And you notice this pressure right there. It's not really designed to steal the basketball. What they're trying to do is just keep a body in front of the dribblers to take a little time off the clock and make them think what play they want to run.
Trammell is a pest, though, defensively. Lob, Kalkbrenner could not finish it off the glass.
Better job by Mensah that time. You saw just a little bit of body action on that lob.
Bradley loses it, scooped up by Shireman. Creighton on the attack. Shireman picked up by the big Mensah. Loop it. Kalkbrenner over Johnson for 2.
Nice recognition by Shireman just then. They had a little bit of a size advantage down low, and they executed perfectly to get him the basketball.
Shireman just fills up the box score. Just under 13 points, over 8 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Trammell coming off the big scoring effort. It rims out on a straightaway tray. 6-5 lead for Creighton. Blue Jays looking for more. It's running through Kalkbrenner. Poke away by Mensah, two-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West.
So he backs it out, one dribble back, and he gets that lob play where he knows he has a big guy who can catch and deliver against a smaller player.
But it's a reminder of how these moments in March, they weigh on guys.
Oh, no doubt about it. And for Bradley, had a long time to think about it, and now to find himself in this situation, chance to go to the Final Four against the same opponent, now on the bench, as Jaden Ledee has checked in, along with a rope. Shireman off the side of the backboard. It ricochets back to him. He tries a backdoor, and it doesn't matter because time has run out on the shot clock.
Yeah, a shot that he can usually make, Shireman, in terms of that one-legged reverse pivot shot. He came out strong the other night, Ian, and I think one of the things that San Diego State is so concerned with, making sure he does not get off any open threes and get some rhythm from out there.
Adam Seiko in the game for San Diego State. Feed the post, the veteran, a rope.
A little jump hook sometimes from him.
He's from Omaha, and he just traveled. Well, we've got an extra layer to this storyline with San Diego State and Creighton. Brothers Adam Seiko and Arthur Kaluma are going head-to-head. This happened last year, first round of the tournament. Now the winner goes to the Final Four. Seiko's got a couple of years on Kaluma. Kaluma has said, you can always let me play with the older guys.
Yeah, why not?
But eventually, they got to experience things together at the collegiate level and have played for the Uganda national team. So that's a whole other bond that they formed.
For 40 minutes, they may not know one another today, though, right?
Alexander get it outside for Nembhard. Shot clock is winding down. Penetrates and couldn't finish. Kalkbrenner is there for the follow and the loose change.
Initially, I thought San Diego State thought that was going to be a lob to Kalkbrenner, and they played it like that, and they realized it wasn't. They went towards the ball, leaving big Kalkbrenner's offensive moves just really easy down low.
He's got 6 of Creighton's 8 points. On a handoff, Butler, the pull-up jumper is there.
So I think Butler's key in this game, just from the defensive standpoint, tracking Nembhard down, but if he can get a couple of those pull-up jumpers to go, and obviously Bradley when he comes back.
Kalkbrenner, it bounces off his hands. He goes down to the floor to get it, and a tie-up possession arrow. It will remain with Creighton. So, Adam Seiko, Arthur Kaluma, their mom is in attendance here, Eva Syra Arico, and just the amount of pride that she has for her 2 sons, as mentioned, teammates for the Uganda national team. Kalkbrenner lines up a 3, off the rim. Rebound, a rope keeps it alive, and it's claimed by Ledee.
Yeah, Kalkbrenner's only taken 18 threes this year, but that looked okay.
Butler
steal to get a layup if they hurry.
They put it down low. Kaluma takes it away. Shireman tried to massage it in, but he's fouled.
Nice recognition by Shireman. You want to just get to half court. Once you retrieve that basketball in the defensive end, Brian Dutcher not happy with the turnover. But as they go, you can see quickly how he reacts. There's the steal, and then off to the races he goes. And notice he gets to half court faster than either of the defensive guys, and then it just becomes a shorter race and an angle.
Jimmy, 14:05 mark of this first half. That's the first foul called today. And Shireman at the free throw line. Micah Parrish picks up the personal.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, that Creighton is one of the best teams in the nation in terms of avoiding fouls. So they don't foul a whole lot, so it'll be interesting to see if San Diego State put a little extra pressure on them.
Trammell checks back in. He replaces Butler. And Parrish back to the bench as well. Frederick King will see his first action. The big body off the bench for Creighton. Shireman, excellent free throw shooter, 83%. His three-point numbers down from where we saw them at South Dakota State. When we asked Greg McDermott about it, he said, look, he's a basketball player who happens to be a great shooter. I told him, it takes one game to find your stroke. He did in the last round against Princeton. Ledee coming off a big effort in the Sweet 16 against Alabama.
Can't do that.
That's an offensive foul, bumping bodies with Kaluma.
You're going to see the shoulder come down now. Watch it's all about the shoulder, right? Coming here, he's out of position, he fumbles it. Not much. It looked, in live, it looked harder than that did on replay just then.
So you're saying Kaluma, pretty good actor?
Punched it a little bit.
It's 10-7 Creighton.
Sometimes that play is, a lot of it has to do with timing too if you pick up that charge. Look at this pressure out front though.
This is Nembhard in a matchup with Trammell. Shot clock is down to 10. Swing it, Kaluma. Ledee, that ball went right through his legs on a nutmeg, and Ledee takes it away.
Keep in mind, Creighton's okay playing the clock down, the shot clock down to 7 and 5 seconds.
Ledee's jumper, he knew he missed it.
Yep.
And it's rebounded by King.
Right to the offensive glass as that ball left his fingers. Good call.
Just 2 points in the last 4.5 minutes for San Diego State. In traffic, Nembhard finishes in a foul.
Watch the way Nembhard makes this play out of nothing, and he watches how low he gets to the floor right there. He ducks down, gets the shoulder, and what that's going to allow you to do is both get your shoulder on the inside like that and get your hips going in the right direction. So terrific drive through traffic to finish it off.
A rope will sit for San Diego State, and now Shireman will get a breather, replaced by Francisco Farabello. Nembhard very stoic in his approach. You will not see his facial expression change over the course of 40 minutes.
And 9 points and 8 assists last outing.
9-2 run for Creighton. Trying to get Bradley going here. No room to work on that step back. It's Ledee. The turnaround air ball. San Diego State cannot produce offense right now.
No, we've spoken enough about San Diego State's offense, but how about the defense, rather? How about the defensive effort that Creighton's throwing out here early on? Nice skip pass for the wide open shot.
Kaluma misses on a 3-ball, and it's rebounded by Bradley.
See if Bradley tries to get untracked.
San Bernardino native. Give it up to a rope. They have 3 field goals, 4 turnovers. A rope to the bucket. He lays it in. He went to Omaha South. Now a 5th-year senior with the San Diego State Aztecs.
Yeah, and the key is for him to get minutes. 14 minutes of action last time out, and he fouled out in 14 minutes. So he has to stay on the floor for them.
Won a state title in Nebraska as the state player of the year. The spin and jumper. Trey Alexander, what a big jump he's made freshman year to sophomore year.
And that's the beauty of Creighton's offense. You just can't double team and forget about anybody on the floor. They're all capable scorers. The starters are.
Seiko way off. Wow. And to your point, Jimmy, all 5 starters have scored for Creighton. Nembhard, sleight of hand, banks it home.
How about that beautiful hesitation at the free throw line? We just saw him go right with the delay and getting his shoulders down low to the floor. That time he bumps his body to the left side of the floor and then squares his shoulders. Terrific move.
Extended 13-4 run. The Creighton crowd is into it. Seiko drive and kick. Trammell in a matchup with Nembhard. Trammell's jumper, he's got it. Darion Trammell, who poured in 21 points in that win over Alabama on Friday night. His first points of the day.
And points that they needed desperately here early in this game just to get back on track.
17-12 Creighton. Nembhard, trip trying to turn the corner. Nope, a travel. 3rd Creighton turnover. 5-point game here in Louisville. Brian Dutcher, 63 years old. He got his first head coaching job with San Diego State at the age of 57. So some background, longtime assistant under Steve Fisher, who's at Michigan. He was instrumental in recruiting the Fab Five. He joined Steve Fisher in San Diego when Fisher stepped down. Dutcher got the head job, now in his 6th season at the helm. Moments ago with our own Evan Washburn.
Coach, with what you've seen through the first nearly 10 minutes of this game, what's the right message for your guys in this huddle?
We're playing fearless, but maybe a little too fearless. Maybe need to move the ball a little bit more, get to the second side of a floor. But we'll settle into the rhythm of the game.
What's the best version of defense against this Creighton team?
Just continue to defend that mid screen and roll. It's everything.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Evan, San Diego State had just 12 turnovers in that win over Alabama on Friday night. They've got 4 here in the first half. Mason Miller has checked in for Creighton. The spin by Trammell gets it outside for Johnson.
Man-to-man defense by Creighton has been very effective.
Trammell off the double team. Bounce it for Mensah. And turnover. Nope, a push. It's Kalkbrenner. That's his first.
Doesn't foul that often in the post.
Coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship Elite Eight begins tonight, 7 p.m. on ESPN. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Wow, out of the corner, it's way off from Micah Parrish. Nembhard accelerates, cut off by Trammell. Farabello, the senior from Argentina, transferred from TCU, certainly capable of loosening up a defense with his three-point prowess. Nembhard, discard, left alone.
It's a freebie at that point. If the call doesn't go against them, you just turn and shoot it. Don't hesitate, because no whistles were blown.
Nembhard didn't play in the game last year against San Diego State in the NCAA tournament because of a broken wrist. Bradley, he needed one to go down, and it's Matt Bradley, bottom from the outside.
Yeah, and coming off his last game where he wasn't effective at all in terms of 2 for 9 from the floor, even though he made some big moves and buckets at the end of that game, I almost sense that he was a little tentative in the first 3 or 4 minutes, maybe thinking about last year again or the first round.
Shireman loops it. Foul call. Kalkbrenner, contact from Keyshaw Johnson.
So let's see, Nembhard's going to turn the corner, try to get in good position, and that might be a charge right there. Pretty good defensive position, but he takes advantage of it and just turns away. And Bradley has a smooth stroke, their leading scorer, and he can go to the mid-range also. Watch for Bradley to bump your body a little bit too.
Greg McDermott thought that should be a shooting foul with Kalkbrenner going to the free throw line. The officials disagree. Nembhard gets it in for Shireman.
A little pick and roll, which Dutcher was talking about to Evan a second ago.
Clear it. Farabello gives it up, and Nembhard comes up short.
Better than action going to the middle of the floor and towards the basket. Brian Dutcher has to be happy with that set. Watch out.
Trammell high off the window for Darion Trammell. 5'10", 175 pounds.
Interesting enough getting that over. Oh, great play if they keep it. Nope.
Trammell tried to save it. Miller swings it. Farabello circles. That's a deep one. Shireman, book it. A three.
See how that broken play opens up a three-point shot. That's generally what occurs when there's a broken play and everybody's scrambling defensively. Shireman just with a quick opportunity to get that off.
Shireman was the Summit League Player of the Year last season for South Dakota State. Highly coveted as a transfer.
I'd like to see something going towards the basket if you're San Diego State. There you go, get it to the post.
They're going to try it with Mensah. Rims out over Kalkbrenner. Out of bounds, last touch by Mensah. All right, let's take a look at our advanced stats presented by Invesco QQQ. San Diego State, first 3 tournament games, they are holding opponents to 18% on three-point shots. And right now, Creighton is 1 out of 5.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that Creighton has adjusted to really early on in this game on the fly, and I think it was coming into the game, hey, we may have to take some mid-range shots. We may have to get it to the post a little bit more frequently and drive it, too, if they're going to stay outside like that.
And McDermott is going a little deeper in his bench, trying to match up here with San Diego State, who plays a bunch of guys. Mason Miller can't hit the three.
Interesting part, though, in the NCAA tournament, 93% of their offense has been coming from starters at the Creighton end.
Sharif Mitchell is in for Creighton. Step back, Jay Bradley. That's an air ball. And Miller will allow it to bounce out of bounds.
And they're looking for a tip. I don't see any official recognizing that the ball was tipped. Meaner, though. And you saw that little conversation he had with Nembhard. Hey, and he knows he's got to play a lot of minutes in a game, so he wants to make sure that nothing rattles him both off the floor or on the floor, but settle him down whenever he needs to.
Sharif Mitchell, the junior from Omaha, is in. Upstairs! Big finish, Kalkbrenner.
And you're going to track those three-point shooters. Where Creighton has really made the adjustments is, hey, we don't have to live with the three-point shot. If they're the best at defending it, we'll go somewhere else. And that was a beautifully designed play after the break.
Jimmy, San Diego State allowed just 23 points in the first half to Alabama the other night. The jump shot is good from Lamont Butler. They've given up 24 with just under 7 minutes to go in the first half here against Creighton.
And I like the way from Creighton's perspective that everybody's getting involved too, which is norm for them, not necessarily scoring, but touching the ball and going to both sides of the floor.
Kaluma back in. Shireman feeds it inside. So easy for Kalkbrenner.
You know, speaking with Brian Dutcher, one of the decisions he's going to have to make is, does he make an adjustment and have a guy put an arm around the front to deflect that ball coming into the post? And guarantee you one thing, they give that catch right there every time, they're going to be in big trouble.
Kalkbrenner leads all scorers with 10 points. They've got 16 points in the paint. The lead is 8 for Creighton. Parrish has been searching for his jump shot. Get it inside. Ladie creates a little bit of space with that body bump on Kalkbrenner and gets the deuce.
Yeah, and even though Kalkbrenner blocks 2 a game, he's conscious of not fouling, and he's very good at going straight up. So you have to challenge him from time to time in the post.
Back-to-back Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Kalkbrenner from Florissant, Missouri. Alexander with a floater.
Yeah, and one of the things about Alexander, he has grown tremendously in his offensive ability. And it's kind of like 2 point guards on the floor when Nembhard's out there with him. Right now, it's Mitchell.
He was the Oklahoma High School Player of the Year out of Heritage Hall, Oklahoma City, now in his sophomore season.
Like this matchup.
Ladie gets it to go. Excuse me. Jaden Ladie.
Well, you talk about 2 buckets that he has had to work for.
Well, they wanted a carry on Kaluma. That's what the San Diego State fans were complaining about behind the bench area.
And watch the way they work both sides of the floor if they can, and the time on the clock.
And a reach-in foul against Butler. That is team foul number 5, the first on Lamont Butler. And that's Brian Dutcher telling the officials that should have been a travel.
And here he goes. Watch this play here. He goes across and just tries to float it up. You're right, losing his balance. And the other thing, too, I would say, is sometimes at the offensive end, if you're pressuring me, I can get frustrated. Well,
no, you can.
Offenses
I know.
can frustrate me. I can frustrate you. Very good.
Shireman. He tried the Ephus, and it's rebounded by a rope.
Finally being honest with me. Nice drive.
Butler couldn't finish on a scoop to the hoop. 28-22 Creighton, under 5 minutes to go. First half. Falling down Kaluma, and that's a travel. 4th turnover for the Blue Jays.
Just a little out of control, both ends. And here's when you get that layup, you have to put that down. Kalkbrenner a factor. We talk about him blocking shots, but the fact that he's good with his footwork, he's generally in position to make you think about where he is. And Greg McDermott knows that, said that yesterday.
Seiko for a rope.
Look at Kalkbrenner just hanging around the middle of the floor.
Butler, the ball fake, takes it into the teeth of the defense and gets there. He got around Kalkbrenner for the bucket.
And it was that last ball fake that got Kalkbrenner off balance. And one of the keys become, when you get a big guy out there, either get him moving defensively or try somehow to get him off balance. That was a great example of it, that trip.
Butler from Moreno Valley, California. Riverside Poly High School.
Here's that pick and roll that they were talking about.
Nembhard, bounce it. The ball knocked out of bounds with 2.7 on the shot clock, and Creighton will retain. Leading performance against Gonzaga. 6 of the 8 head coaches in the Elite 8 making their debut in that round. Out of the timeout, Kaluma trying to beat the shot clock, and a box out by Ladie. San Diego State has made 4 of its last 5. They trail Creighton 28-24. Winner goes to the Final Four. Ladie.
See how he goes straight up?
Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, you see how he goes straight up on that?
Nembhard picked up by Trammell. Nembhard using his speed, put that in no man's land, but off the deflection, he comes away with it.
Oh, out of bounds on the sideline.
So Shireman turns it over for Creighton. That's the 5th of the day for the Blue Jays.
Creighton's committed only 1 foul, and this is primarily why they don't foul too often. He goes straight up. Vertical jump just then, stays in the way of the basket. That's well defended. And then you just pull it back just a touch because you think he's going to come and block it on you.
San Diego State trailed by 9 in the second half against Alabama the other night. Came from behind and took control. Ledee goes to the offhand and a chance at a three-point play. Jaden Ledee is bringing it, a physical force for this Aztec squad.
5 of 7 last game out, but watch how he fumbles this ball because he's starting to look for Kalkbrenner, and then he comes back and gets that left-handed jump hook to go. So a fumble real fast, a gather, and then a quick release.
And Jimmy, how about this for a connection? Jaden Ledee's mom's great uncle, you're following me?
I'm with you.
Willis Reed.
Willis Reed.
The legend and the former head coach at Creighton, who passed away earlier this week. Ledee missing on the free throw. It's tracked down by a rope, but he saves it, and he goes over the scorer's table in the process.
Doesn't take long to get back.
Ledee gets fouled by Alexander.
Look, to tell you, he was moving here to save this basketball.
Oh, look out. If you're Westwood One Radio, oh, that's spillage.
Spillage, too.
That's a combination.
Yeah, high-flying spillage just then. And he's okay.
Oh, no, that's a splash zone right there.
Watch how fast he bounced back, too, right into the flood.
28-26, Creighton. San Diego State with a chance to tie or take the lead depending on shot selection. We are under 3 minutes to go in this first half. Trammell off the hezzy, floats it in.
That's all about a read. Trammell has to read what Kalkbrenner is going to give him, and he absolutely read that perfectly in terms of that little push pull-up shot.
Knotted up at 28 apiece. 3 minutes with no points for Creighton. Shireman puts an end to that streak.
And you were speaking a little bit about San Diego State being down. Remember the second half of the Alabama game? Alabama threw a little bit of a haymaker at them the first 5 minutes, and they responded. They just responded again here in the last 3 minutes to Creighton. Backdoor, they didn't see it, and they didn't get it.
A rope went the other way. A rope thought he had the angle. What a rebound there by Ledee. Fake. Can't get it to drop. Rebounded by Shireman, who averages 8.3 per game.
Ledee was like the third guy in on that play for that rebound. And a little better bounce on the defensive end. Let's see if Creighton can still execute using both sides of the floor.
We are down to 1:42 to go in this first half. Yeah. Isolation.
Yeah, look where he caught the ball, though. He's a little further out.
Kalkbrenner missed it on a baby hook.
Well done by a rope. Get him out away from the basket, about 5 or 6 feet. Make a big difference against Kalkbrenner.
Trammell makes his move. Banker, no. Rebound, Ledee. Knocked away, brought it down low, and it cost him Nembhard the steal. Looking for the trailer. Sets it up. Kaluma. Bottom on a three.
Real good execution on the break.
Well, if you're Eva, the mom of both Arthur Kaluma and Adam Seiko, you're cheering both sides.
She's going to be tired.
Ledee, it bounced off his hands. He recovers. Ledee overcooked it.
Trying to pick up this pace a little bit.
Nembhard.
Whoa.
Contact. It's an offensive foul. A rope takes the hit.
And both players moving here, and it always comes down to who's creating the contact. Yeah, I like that call. I know one's a big guy and one's a little guy, but the little guy just, Nembhard put a rope right on his back.
Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg, Clark, Kenny, Charles, Jay Wright. They'll have their first half analysis. A look ahead to the final game of the Elite Eight, Miami taking on Texas. All coming up. AT&T at the half. Timeout with 44.9 to play in this first half. Creighton in front of San Diego State by 5. Our game summary with Creighton shooting 14 of 26 from the field. That's 54%. San Diego State held Alabama to 32% the other night.
Different style of play, though, that Creighton has compared to Alabama.
Mensah back in. Get it to the outside. Trammell, 10 to shoot. Trammell launches. Off the rim, kept alive, and they can hold for one. Rebounded by Parrish.
College teams don't use it that often, but there's a foul to give here if they wanted to use it.
6 seconds. Bradley picked up by Shireman. Bradley makes his move. The sweep. At the horn, no. Trammell. We hit the break in Louisville. Creighton's got a 33-28 lead over San Diego State. The last number 6 seed to reach the Final Four, Michigan, in 1992.
And just to tag what you said in terms of, I was impressed with the way Creighton played in a low-scoring game in terms of they average about 77 points on the season. So they showed me that they can play in half court, which, by the way, they have done this year in lower-scoring games and has done okay, winning a handful of games in that manner.
San Diego State with possession, put it upstairs. Nathan Mensah on a rack attack.
Yeah, the difference with that play than what they were running with Bradley getting him involved is Bradley was coming to his left from the right side to the left so he could dictate that pass with his strong hand.
Mensah played just 8 minutes in the first half. He wasn't in foul trouble. Kalkbrenner the catch, put it down low, tough angle with a double team, and he steps on the baseline. Turnover, Creighton.
So how do you start it if you're San Diego State? You come around the corner like that and you lob one up. But as I mentioned, Bradley is a left-handed player, so going to his strength, much better in terms of dictating the flow of one play.
San Diego State this season 21-0 when allowing 65 points or fewer. They trail Creighton 33-30. Bradley forcing the action and he missed it on a bank shot. The ball caroms to the outside and Bradley secures it.
Nice ball fake.
Trammell floats it in.
He really regroups himself very nicely. Beautiful ball fake out front just to disguise that he's going to take that shot. Real good hands and hand coordination for that floater, which is tougher than it looks.
Creighton's lead is down to 1. Just over a minute gone by in this second half. Nembhard defended by Trammell. Alexander couldn't slice it inside. Gives up his dribble with 6 to shoot.
Remember, they started with Kalkbrenner in the first half.
Kaluma might have shuffled the foot. Jumper in and out for Alexander. And San Diego State with a chance to take the lead. Mensah keeps the ball moving with Trammell.
They're pick and roll action right now.
Off the screen, Trammell, step back, hits the heel. Rebound was jarred loose, but Alexander's got it. Get into it quickly here with Nembhard. Post-up opportunity, and a foul called on Butler, trying to dig that ball out of there with Kaluma. Let's check in with Evan.
Guys, dream start for Brian Dutcher. He felt like his team was a little anxious at the start of this game, but they settled in offensively. He wants them to keep attacking the paint, and defensively he knows Kalkbrenner's going to be a problem. But look, he said, we'll trade 2s for 3s. Creighton only 2 threes in that first half. They average about 9 a game.
They look for Kalkbrenner. Denied by Mensah. Kalkbrenner sticks with it, couldn't finish. Here's Butler, and the open floor. Butler lays it in.
And remember, Mensah's 2-time defensive player in their conference back-to-back years, so that's a challenge and a half against Kalkbrenner down low, and all of a sudden the mood of this game in the building has changed dramatically.
First lead since 5-4 for San Diego State. Aztecs got a first-round win over Charleston, backed it up with a win over Furman, the victory over #1 Alabama on Friday night. Playing with a lot of confidence. Bradley trying to take it away. Shot clock is down to 5. Kaluma takes it in for 2. Kaluma with an acrobatic play to put Creighton back in front.
Yeah, it was that twist at the end of that play that he regathered himself and avoided running over a defender.
Bradley, kick out, Mensah, short.
They're going to give him that one. Got to allow Kalkbrenner to stay put.
Rebounded by Shireman, lead feed, Kaluma, no hesitation, rims out on a 3.
I like that shot, though, by Kaluma. That's a rhythm shot.
Butler, the dribble drive, couldn't finish it, and Kalkbrenner clears.
Kaluma misses a shot, but he gets back into the defensive side of the floor.
Nembhard, swing, Alexander short. Rebounded by Kaluma. Shireman fires. In and out. It was halfway down.
We've seen that in the first half when he got one of his shots from 3 to go down because of a broken play. And he couldn't believe that that didn't stay down.
Creighton is now 2 of 11 from three-point territory. They've been making just under 8 per game in the tournament. Shake off the defender. Clear it. Bradley lines it up. And over the backboard, out of bounds. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. Bradley is now 1 of 6 from the field.
Remember that Greg McDermott said to Evan at the halftime, Ian, that he wants to get Kalkbrenner more involved.
That ball was touched. Nembhard goes all the way back to get it.
I'm not sure if it was or not. Right?
Well, Brian Dutcher was trying to get the attention of the official, and Greg McDermott believed that the ball was tipped. And Nembhard, I'm not sure what he thought.
Watch Nembhard's body language right now. Goes through his legs. That's not
all him.
And watch him now. He's like, oh boy, I just turned this one over.
He knew it.
He sure did. You can just look at the player.
Well, we talked to Brian Dutcher about all the influences he's had in his life from a coaching standpoint. His dad, longtime coach, Lou Henson, Bill Frieder, and Steve Fisher, the former head coach at Michigan and San Diego State. More from Evan.
Yeah, guys, and there's still a Fisher on this San Diego State sideline. That's Mark Fisher. He's not here on the road. He's been battling ALS for over a decade now, but still an integral part of this team, assistant to the head coach. And he checks in at every halftime on the road. And I got the message from Mark to the team. Felt like they settled down, playing much better. He wants to see more middle ball screens, fellas.
Really good stuff, Evan. Trammell rims out on the mid-range jump shot. Creighton nearly turned it over on the sideline. Creighton is just 1 of 7 against this San Diego State defense to start the second half.
Defense travels, doesn't it? Travel from California.
Always. They've actually traveled the most miles
they have.
of any team in the NCAA tournament. Creighton has traveled the least. Swing it. Alexander, the corner pop is short. And he just can't locate his jump shot.
I think Brian Dutcher doesn't think they're going to win this shooting threes against them.
Parrish zigzags in, missed it with the offhand. The lefty tried to take it right-handed, out of bounds. San Diego State will retain. 35-34 Creighton. Just about 5 minutes gone by, and nope, it's going to go the other way. Last touch by the Aztecs. Both teams looking for some rhythm here offensively.
I think that's more to do with the defense than lack of offense, too. Look at the pressure on the perimeter again. We talked about it in the first half.
Handed off, Nembhard. Kaluma goes down. Nembhard lines it up. Too strong. Get it out for Trammell. Stepping into it, Parrish. Couldn't hit a three. Rebounded by Alexander. Push up the floor by Creighton. Nembhard shakes off the defender a rope, but there was help there. Alexander, the kick.
They're looking for Kalkbrenner, but he just can't get open with the rope on him.
Nobody can. And that's off the hands of Kaluma. Shot clock winding down. Off the rim, flying in Shireman. He lines it up. Fouled in three-point territory.
Well, that's that quick release that he has, and that time he just made something out of nothing, coming a long way to get that rebound, starting on the right side of the floor and then ending up in the left corner where he turns and releases it quickly, and he's not allowed to land. That's a good call.
Micah Parrish overcommitted, and Shireman will head to the free throw line.
83% shooter from the line.
From Aurora, Nebraska, Aurora High School. He was a high school football star, quarterback, had 59 touchdowns in 2018. Back into his home state. His instincts on the glass really stand out. He recognizes angles. He's 6'7", averaging nearly 8.5 boards per game. Trammell sits. And Lamont Butler in for San Diego State. The lead is 3 for Creighton.
And Shireman a bit of a point forward also, the way he plays. He can slide back and forth. In the old days, used to call him a swing man.
I like that term. That was always a good term.
I always liked that.
Now you hear combo forward.
Combo guards.
It's
really
really
swing man.
Now it's positionless basketball
exactly.
for the most part. 38-34 Creighton. Catch and fire. Parrish missed it strong. Rebound. Ledee clears for Butler. Parrish keeps on heaving it. Rebound knocked to the outside. A rope hits the deck. Gets his hands on it with Kalkbrenner. And a jump ball. The possession arrow to Creighton.
I like the way the bigs, especially Kalkbrenner. We've seen him a couple of times this afternoon. Just get on the floor if he can't scoop it up. And a tie up there. Good call from the officials.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, now in his junior season. The consistency has been so impressive this year. It's 16.6 rebounds, 2 blocks per game. Nembhard forced to kick it out. Kaluma, the ball fake on a rope. Drops it inside. Kalkbrenner, the flush, and the foul.
If you want to see a set for Creighton basketball, this may very well be the one. As the ball goes to the left side, it comes back to the right, and they get the defense for San Diego State rotating, but rotating late. And finally, they get something going in the second half for Kalkbrenner.
The foul on Arope. Craig and Lynn Kalkbrenner are in the stands. So are the Shiremen's. Creighton is well represented from all angles right now. We saw Kyle Korver here the other night. He gave the team a highly inspirational pregame speech. If you can check it out on social media, it's worth your time.
Big moment here at the offensive end for San Diego State early.
8-0 run. 41-34.
They haven't gotten a smooth look.
Bradley couldn't get it to drop. Rebound Mensah. That won't go. And rebound controlled by Johnson. Kick it out. Butler on target for a 3.
That's nice work on the offensive glass, though. 3 bodies setting it up on the glass to keep it alive for a kick out.
They had gone scoreless over 4 minutes and 50 seconds until that bucket from Lamont Butler. 41-37 Creighton. Alexander gets through the first wave. The fadeaway is pure.
Rhythm shot. When you open it up, we haven't seen, especially at the San Diego State end that often in this half, but back-to-back rhythm shots just then, and you see how more effective they are in terms of putting them through the hoop.
This Creighton team has averaged 82 points per game over their last 6. They lead this one 43-37. All the points from the starters. Wow. In and out for Butler. Rebound. Butler somehow comes away with it. Takes it in for 2.
Remarkable play.
He is so tough.
And I don't know how he missed that first layup, but I'm sure he would say, 99 out of 100 of those are going to get down, but no quit in this team whatsoever to come back into that play to get a layup out of it.
He has poured in 16 points. He averages 8.5 per game. Alexander back out for Nembhard. 10 to shoot.
Comes that roll again.
Kalkbrenner, the catch. Help there. And he takes it over Mensah. Grabs it. Layup won't go. Kalkbrenner goes down hard. And a tie-up possession arrow to San Diego State. Kalkbrenner is frustrated. Well, Kalkbrenner actually got pulled in the last game by Greg McDermott. He just didn't like the facial expression and the attitude that he had on the floor and told him so on the bench. After the game, Kalkbrenner said, yeah, he was right. I got it. We made an adjustment, and he did. Right at the end of that first half, you could feel it shift, and then it carried over into the second half in Creighton's victory over Princeton.
So what do we have? A little full court action here from Creighton.
Get it in for Butler. Now they trap him with 2. Butler trying to fight through it.
They didn't see that coming, that's for sure, San Diego State.
They have multiple ball handlers, Trammell and Butler. Either one can run the offense.
Bradley can help out in that area also.
Trammell shovels it. Mensah sent back. Kalkbrenner. Rim run, Shireman. He's going to back it out for Alexander. 11-minute mark of the second half. 4-point lead for Creighton. Winner advances to Houston in the Final 4. Alexander, short. Rebounded by Trammell.
Well, they'll take that shot. Alexander can shoot it from long range. Just a little bit of a pick and roll action, not much.
San Diego State has missed 12 of its last 14 shots. Bradley, that's off the rim.
Yeah, that's a shot that I think they're happy with him shooting.
Bradley is now 1 of 8. Kalkbrenner turns.
Oh, big time.
Rejected. Do not go in there on Mensah. Johnson just missed the jam.
All right, we got some pace going to this one right now.
43-39 Blue Jays, and Nembhard's got an issue.
Yeah, holding his right wrist, I believe, Ian.
Remember, he broke it
Yep.
in February of 2022, missed the NCAA tournament, and a timeout taken by Greg McDermott. So Ryan Nembhard in some pain. Athletic trainer Ben McNair will take a look for Creighton. So the concern right now for Ryan Nembhard, known as R2. There was a chop down there from Johnson, and that's when he was trying to shake it off.
It almost looked like it was higher on the arm.
That was the official timeout. Shireman, ball fake, rims out, rebound, a rip down by Johnson. His own man goes down on the play, and it was Mensah. Right now it's 4 on 5.
He's talking to the official saying, I'm all right.
Trammell loses his footing and loses the basketball out of bounds. That is turnover number 6. So they're checking out the wrist and arm area of Nembhard.
I like that fall away shot.
That was Mensah's issue. He thought that Kalkbrenner hooked him right here.
Yep. Oh, that's a good takedown too. You're right.
Just saw Nembhard flexing his right hand.
Yeah, I could have caught him on the wrist and grazed its way back up towards the elbow.
Yeah, he
Good
knew
angle
it.
there.
Officials currently over at the sideline.
Rebounding play to see if there's a potential hook and hold.
They are looking into a potential hook and hold, and Gene Steratore watching along with us right now. Gene, what'd you see on the play?
I see both players as naturally they're fighting for the rebound. The arms do get stuck, as we see there. But then when 11 Blue turns and pulls that way, Ian, that's when you start talking about excessive, unwarranted. To me, that extra spin and that kind of oomph there, that can rise, and I think, in my opinion, would rise to a flagrant 1.
Is that in the rule book, Gene? Oomph?
Oomph could be in the rule book, Ian. Yeah, right behind piggyback, Ian. I think it may be. Yes.
We had a
He gave him a
Friday.
piggyback just then for a second.
We got an oomph today, and that's what the officials are looking
But
at.
Gene, if Kalkbrenner, number 11 in blue, straightens his arm out on that play and doesn't continue the hook, then I think he would have been okay, even though we're getting a look at his elbow with some blood on it.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Jimmy. You know, these situations, arms do get caught like that, right? And then it is what action is taking place after you've realized that you have been engaged, or you're engaged or intertwined with an opponent. And I think that's where then the officials start to make the next level of ruling. Is it basketball related? Are you trying to get yourself away from that in that situation, or do you realize he's there and you spin your body while you're clamping? And that's the decisions they're making right there in that situation.
And sometimes, Gene, I would think the end result has a little bit to do with that also.
I agree. When you have a potential injury
After
or a
review,
player
we have
get
a
hurt.
flagrant 1 personal foul against 11 from Creighton for a hook and hold violation.
Yep. All right. Thanks so much. Michael Irving just relayed what the decision was. It is a hook and hold against Ryan Kalkbrenner. Gene, thanks for your input. You could tell that Mensah immediately went down and hurt his elbow. So it took a while for him to get up, and the official just happened to be there. So Mensah also shared his opinion at that point of what took place.
Yeah, there's always a trail official who's supposed to look at that play while the others are headed down court, just to make sure something doesn't happen back there. So they were positioned very well in terms of getting that call correct.
So Mensah goes to the free throw line where he shoots it at 64%. This is just the second free throw attempt of the day for San Diego State.
And that's the first foul for Creighton in the second half, a team that we've touched on does not foul a whole lot. And this is going to be very important too. Nembhard, we got a quick shot of him with flexing that right hand.
Mensah nails a pair of free throws.
So we have the official right here checking things out. You see the ball goes down the other end. The two other officials are moving towards half court and beyond, so well positioned to get that right.
Yeah, that was Joe Lindsay in the spot. Let's send it over to Evan.
Well, you guys have laid it out well, but Nembhard right now is trying to find a basketball to test the strength of that right hand. They've had to go into the locker room. There's no balls available on the sideline. He continues to flex it. Again, needs a ball to test the strength and grip that he has at the moment.
Meanwhile, San Diego State now trails by 2. Mensah tried to bank it. Rebound. Excellent position by Bradley, who sprung off the floor.
They're going after the offensive glass. No question about it.
Cross and kick. Jumper Parrish. Can't hit the 3. And it's rebounded by Alexander.
Starting to see bodies fly a little bit. The officials will start to control just a touch of this game if it gets a little out of control.
And remember how much of that we saw Alabama, San Diego State.
Creighton fans thought there was a hold there with the kick.
Farabello in. Kick it. Alexander. Creighton has missed its last 5 shots. Alexander sheds off, and it's an offensive foul. Going the other way.
I like that high screen. It was actually a delayed double screen up top for Alexander going to his strong hand. But watch the end of this right here. His left hand, he sees Trammell coming back on him. Trammell, to give him his due on that play, and most plays, just didn't quit on it at all. That was an exceptional defensive effort.
And Nembhard is back in. He replaces Farabello.
So now, when you start to think San Diego State, masters of the defensive end of the floor, let's see how if they pressure Nembhard full court, force him to use that left hand, and maybe sag back on him to let him shoot the ball to see if he can shoot the ball in the next offensive set.
Nembhard was Big East Freshman of the Year last season. His season cut short with that broken wrist in February. The jumper doesn't go, and the rebound is snatched by Kaluma.
Yeah, there's a hold in the backcourt, but Creighton has to do a better job, and Kaluma did on the defensive glass. Get more blue shirts underneath the basket the way San Diego State's coming at them.
So off the missed shot by Trammell, Parrish is called for the personal. 8:39 to go in regulation.
There he is with the blue shirts underneath, and this is just one. You're probably not going to get that and strip it, especially with a right-handed guy if you're on his left side trying to swipe it.
Third foul on Parrish. He's gone 0 of 6 on the offensive end. Over 4 minutes without a point for Creighton. Kaluma, the back end.
Size advantage.
The turnaround is good. Arthur Kaluma with a bucket.
It's about 3 inches of size advantage that he had just then, but he timed it perfectly to actually really use the advantage with the body.
45-41 Creighton. Ledee back in there. Over Kalkbrenner. It's off. And the rebound snared by Alexander. Nembhard using his left hand right now.
You know, Greg McDermott has all eyes on him.
Alexander played point guard in the absence of Nembhard last season. Back it. Kalkbrenner. Ledee digs in. Kalkbrenner can't finish with a left hand. Out of bounds. Creighton retains. 7:40 to go in the second half. Creighton is up by 4.
Here's Kaluma down low. Watch the size advantage to go over the top there to get a bucket. And we're starting to see some competitive basketball on both sides of the floor.
Our game summary, second half shooting. Creighton, it has dropped off. San Diego State trying to produce enough offense to get over the top and advance to the Final Four. Second time a 5 and 6 seed have met in the Elite Eight. 2010, Michigan State beat Tennessee.
Here's their shooter.
Shireman. Wow. It's off. And Ledee steps in for the rebound in front of Kalkbrenner.
A lot of good shooters are missing fairly poorly this afternoon with this. I think they're just constantly looking for defenders that they can test the outside shots. A little hold by Nembhard that time.
So he'll pick it up at the 7:20 mark. That's number 2 on Ryan Nembhard. His brother went to the NCAA championship game with Gonzaga. Lost to Baylor in 2021. Now a member of the Indiana Pacers. Andrew Nembhard. Handed off. Trammell fakes the pass. Now feeds it for Johnson. The back end. The hook. Baker is good and a foul. Keyshawn Johnson with a chance for 3.
Sometimes what San Diego State does very well, Ian, when they isolate a guy on the blocks right now, the way they position themselves initially to catch it, and they're strong in their leap. Nice quick release on that jump hook off the glass, no less.
And the foul on Kaluma. Johnson's got a good turnaround game and converts to cut this to a 1-point Creighton advantage. We're going to hit the 7-minute mark.
I think I'm forcing him to use his left hand as much as he can. And he looks fine dribbling with his right, though.
Shireman back out. Nemhard.
Back door.
Shireman contact. Couldn't spin it in. And it's a play on.
Butler going straight up.
Trammell looking for the lead. The floater. Got it! 46-45. Aztecs, the 6th lead change here today. Nemhard trying to shake off Trammell.
Question is whether he can shoot the ball or not. He's handling it and passing it using his right hand.
Kaluma takes matters into his own hands. He draws the foul.
Kaluma does that so well, putting the brakes on in the middle of the floor. Backdoor, you see the straight up jump. That's pretty good defensive effort just then. And then watch Trammell. We've seen him make some shots off the dribble, half a push shot, half a jump shot.
Foul called on Micah Parrish. That is his 4th. .73% shooter, Arthur Kaluma. This Thursday, Ghost returns with a brand new episode. Catch the phenomenon critics have called delightful and laugh out loud funny. A new episode of the hit comedy Ghosts this Thursday on CBS, or catch up anytime on Paramount Plus.
One of the things that Creighton has done so well in the NCAA tournament is right here, shooting free throws.
The best in the NCAA tournament entering action. We're talking about 91% collectively in the big dance. They're 8 of 9 as a team here today. It's 46-46. Seiko back in, replacing Parrish. And a foul out front on Alexander.
Team number 5.
And the 3rd personal on Trey Alexander. Neither team has been to a Final Four. Neither team had been to an Elite 8. So there's going to be history made here, whoever comes out of the South region. Trammell, short on the push shot, rebounded by Johnson. Goes back up and scores.
Trammell is making that play to start, and then the guys go to work on the offensive glass. But Trammell, they're setting him up, coming around from the left side to use his strong hand, the right hand. Nice coaching.
12 offensive rebounds for San Diego State. They've got a 2-point lead under 6 minutes to go.
Here comes a Kalkbrenner. Let's see what he does with it. Can he get closer to the hole?
They brought a double for a moment. Diagonal Alexander.
Good defensive effort out front, too, by Butler.
Shot clock winding down. Alexander hoist. Long rebound, Kaluma. And Creighton gets a reload. They are 2 of 16 from downtown.
Yeah, after the reload, Greg McDermott would like to see them get something going quicker.
Nemhard for Alexander. Drives in on Butler. Alexander fades. Bullseye.
That's where guys have had the most success at the Creighton end lately. Bringing it to the middle of the floor, getting a little body action going, and then use that reverse pivot to space and shoot. Alexander's got 8. We are tied at 48. Under 5 minutes to go in the Elite 8. Here's Butler. Pull-up jump. Butler buries it. And we're seeing offensive efficiency. Trammell first, then Butler the second trip. What are they doing? They're all going to their strong hand for the pull-up jump shot opportunities. Nemhard nearly lost it. San Diego State up by 2. Creighton has to make an adjustment on the fly to force them to their weaker hands. Swing it. Kaluma. He was looking for a 3-ball to give them the lead. Fortunate to get it back. Long strides. He draws the foul on Ledee. Yeah, if Ledee had to do that one again, I think he would have backed off just a touch. So watch this spacing right now. Get him inside and then pump it a little bit and then fall back. And here's the high screen pick and roll action. Even decent shooters, if they get their rhythm off the dribble like that, they're going to be so much more effective.
CBS Sports Golazo Network is a first-of-its-kind free channel dedicated to global soccer coverage. Find it on the CBS Sports app, Pluto TV, and Paramount Plus, launching on April 11th. A rope is back in. Brings that 7-foot wingspan with him at 6'7", 225. No rebound necessary because Kaluma trains a pair. The team is now 10 of 11 at the free throw line.
They may have to play their offensive sets with more determination to get to that free throw line than the outside shot. Creighton. There it is to the right side again.
Trammell.
Wow.
Out of nowhere, Kalkbrenner spikes it.
It just shows you the footwork of a 7-footer to get out on him. We've seen Trammell with those pull-up jump shots be very effective.
Get it in, Trammell. A rope. Quick turnaround. The veteran, a rope.
And a quick hitter on the out of bounds, too. Trammell again making a nice decision with the basketball.
San Diego State up by 2. They've got 32 points in the paint. Under 4 minutes to go. Nembhard swing for Kaluma.
Yeah, I think they want to try to get into the post, but it's being well defended on the perimeter.
Shake and bay, Kaluma, tough angle. And it's caught by Kalkbrenner. Shot clock is down to 5. And a timeout call.
I was thinking Greg McDermott over there was yelling to get timeout. Going nowhere on that possession.
Yeah, McDermott unhappy with Kaluma on the other end.
Little curl around. Quick drop step. Beautifully done.
3:30 on the clock. Game reset. San Diego State, the 5 seed, leading Creighton, the 6 seed, 52-50. The winner advances to Houston and the Final Four. Timeout called with Kalkbrenner right in front of his head coach.
Does Nembhard get this play, the ball right now, because we don't know whether he can shoot it or not, so they may go away from him.
Get it in. Shireman launches. Air ball. In this half, Creighton is 0 of 10 from deep.
And keep in mind, Creighton is playing a lot of minutes with their starters. How will their legs hold up against fairly fresh legs at the other side?
Just over 3 minutes left to see who is headed to Houston. This is a Creighton team that makes just under 9 3-pointers per game. They have 2 this afternoon.
Tough inbound.
Seiko gets it in for a rope, and now back into the hands of Trammell. Every starter for Creighton has played at least 32 minutes so far. Butler.
There's that weave again from the middle of the floor.
Give it up. Trammell. Thought he had an opening.
I think he did for a second.
Shot clock is down to 10. The back end, a rope, flips it in.
Kalkbrenner was thinking of coming over just then too, Ian, but he didn't make a good, strong decision to get over there to help out.
San Diego State up by 4, under 3 minutes left. Just 7 points in the last 10 minutes for Creighton. Up top, Kalkbrenner with the finish. The setup by Alexander.
The 3 isn't going down, so watch for Creighton right now. They have to put an emphasis on initially trying to drive this towards the basket for either drives like that or medium-range pull-up jumpers.
The lead is 2 for the Aztecs. Trammell. Get it in.
Kalkbrenner behind this time. He goes away from him.
A rope comes up short. Ball is free. A rope hits the deck. Whoa! Bodies flying. Shireman down on the deck, along with Seiko, and possession arrow to Creighton on a tie-up.
Well, you could just see this action getting ready to go with guys hitting the floor. The rope trying to call a timeout, but they did not have possession.
Substitution as Johnson will come in and replace a rope.
Good minutes by a rope.
Creighton shooting 24% in the second half. Counted down to the 2-minute mark here in regulation. Shireman, get it inside. Kalkbrenner, tie game.
once again, that is a set play just then, coming down in a little bit of a weave. But I have to keep emphasizing how both of these coaches, Shireman that time going to his strong hand, the lefty, and just waiting for a little squeeze pass to get it to his big guy.
6 ties, 6 lead changes. Shot clock is down to 12. Seiko on a bounce. Mensah got it.
The scouting report, I think they read that as if he's not going to take that little pull-up.
8 points for the senior Nathan Mensah. San Diego State up by 2. 1:24 left. Give and go. Nembhard. And Mensah was there defensively.
Nembhard had that shot. I don't think it was deflected on that cut to the basket. A good give and go, and he's still holding that right wrist over on the left side of the floor.
San Diego State with possession, up by 2. 1 minute to play. Butler on a handoff for Trammell. Trip to the Final Four on the line. Trammell off the rim. And a rebound controlled by Shireman. 2-point game. Creighton with possession. Down on the scoreboard, 56-54. 42 seconds left. Alexander makes his move. Hop step. Oh, dances off the rim. Kalkbrenner steps in. Out of bounds. We were that close to a tie game, and San Diego State will have possession.
Such a great judgment, too, by Alexander. I don't know how that ball didn't go in. And the effort by Kalkbrenner again to tip it.
Micah Parrish checks back in. He's playing with 4 fouls. 33.7 on the clock. How do you approach it if you're Creighton?
I'm just thinking this one through. It's such a tough decision.
Well, you're going to have some time to think about it.
I appreciate it.
Brian Dutcher just hooked you up.
Thanks, Coach.
Timeout, San Diego State. Keep this in mind. 5 team fouls on Creighton. So if they are going to start fouling, there's still going to be a foul to give before they get into a shooting situation to put San Diego State at the free throw line. They're just checking on the clock right now. 33.7 on the game
and
clock.
If that differential stays right there, I think your point is very well taken with 1 foul that they have to give. I think they're in a position because San Diego State will take time off the clock if they get this possession down the other end. And remember, this ball has to hit somewhere out of bounds for it to stop. Not yet, not yet. Coach catches it, and that's when it's out of bounds.
So they've added half a second, 34.2.
I don't think that really makes a difference in terms of the strategy.
San Diego State with possession, up by 2.
Now, before you just go in and foul quickly, you want to take some gambles here in terms trying to get the steal as best you can. Look for some traps, some double teams. You can take about, I don't know, say 10 seconds off the clock if you can get a chance for a trap. But that foul to give may come back to haunt them if they don't do it quick enough.
Seiko, the senior, to toss it in.
Timeout has to be called.
Avoided the 5-second call on the turnover.
Tough spot to take it out of bounds, too.
San Diego State is down to 1 timeout remaining. Well covered by Creighton. We're coming back. This is where San Diego State wanted to play this game, in the 50s. Right now, they've got a 56-54 lead on Creighton with 34.2 on the clock.
Well, it was way too crowded for an inbounds pass from the sideline those last trips. So now they could go one-on-one and try to get it in. Oh, look at this!
Steal! Shireman! Tie game!
A lob pass entry went a little awry over the top of the offensive player. Now I think you just play this line as if this is the last shot. The way they've been hitting their offensive rebounds.
2.5-second difference. Shot clock to game clock. 56-56.
Going to go about 7 seconds here. Playing as if, even though there's a differential.
Butler with 7. Down to 5. And a foul given. So that is going to erase the shot clock. 6.7. They tried to lob it up for Parrish, and Shireman was there.
And what's the major no-no in basketball? Do not bring that ball in bounds towards the opposition's basket.
It was a gift.
Yeah. I mean, I love the thought process of getting a big guy, put your hand up, and throw it to my target, let me go get it, but not in that direction.
San Diego State has called its final timeout.
Does everything he can do to get to it, and you can't get a better layup opportunity.
Aztecs will have a chance to win it. You've got Trammell, you've got Butler, you've got options.
That foul in that situation also gave them the last on the clock, bringing it down to a 6.7. Now they can sit on it, but there was a little bit of a differential before that foul, so I'm not so sure about it. Now I'm looking to see if one of the guards will get involved. Trammell's on the floor, very good. They have two options with the way Butler has played and Trammell to get at least a couple of dribbles and pull up jump shots, if not a slip cut to the basket. They don't need to go long on this.
And now Creighton will take the timeout. The Blue Jays have one remaining. We are tied at 56. Creighton Blue Jays and San Diego State Aztecs. Neither team has ever been to a Final Four. This tournament has been absolutely wild and unpredictable. And a 5-6 matchup is going to determine who goes to Houston. These two teams played last year. First round of the NCAA tournament. And that one was bonkers. San Diego State had a 9-point lead late, but could not close it out against Creighton. They went on a 9-0 run to force overtime and win it to advance. Today we've got even more on the line.
And generally in situations where you're looking to get a shot up and go for an offensive rebound, you start like at 7 seconds. Clearly this is under 7 seconds. But now I think you take an extra second or two if you have to. Don't worry about the offensive rebound. Worry about the initial shot to make sure it's a clear shot that you get off and it's not blocked or deflected.
Kaluma will defend the inbounder. San Diego State looking for the win. Butler, get it in. A rope, hands it to Trammell. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Trammell drives. He's fouled. Trammell will go to the free throw line.
It's all about getting the turn towards the basket. Played it perfectly from a timing perspective. Let's see if there's a hit. Left arm is down low. He didn't hit him with the right arm. The left arm might be on the hip. Let's take another look. See that left hand on the hip? I'm a big believer, Ian, in that if the offensive guy makes a play at the end of a game and he's fouled, you have to call it. Now, some people are saying this may not be much of a foul. But does it affect the offensive guy's motion to the basket and getting a shot off? And you're pushed a little bit, it throws your timing off.
So clearly there was time left on the clock. Gene Steratore back in New York watching along with us. Just take us through the thought process of the officials right now, Gene.
Yeah, and in these situations, what they'll do is review back and look when the contact was initiated. As Jimmy said, I think he's right. It's the left hand on the hip. So really when that contact basically starts to occur right about there, which a restriction or a foul has been decided upon, that's when they'll go back. My early look on that looks to be about 1.2 seconds, Ian.
And that's exactly what they're going to put on the clock. And now Darion Trammell will head to the free throw line for the first time today. Tied at 56.
74% free throw shooter, too.
Creighton has taken a timeout. And Greg McDermott is still steamed.
Yep, understandably.
Another look.
Yeah, left hand. Just watch the left hand down below. See, that's enough to throw your timing off. I know people don't want to get the game decided by the officials in a call like this. But in my mind, as I repeat myself, if the offensive player makes a move and he beats the defender, why do we not call it if it's a foul? Then you're penalizing the offensive player down in the last second of a game.
So no timeouts left now on either side. Let's take this back to the inbounds, Jimmy. The toss in here, a rope. Oof. Very close.
To traveling? Yeah.
Got rid of it.
Yeah.
Barely.
Now here's a thought for you if he makes the first free throw.
The senior from Marin City, California.
Oof. I was going to say make the first and miss the second, because you're going to lose on a three-shot anyway. But right now, obviously, he has to hit this shot
for the lead. San Diego State up by 1. 1.2 to go.
And Shireman has a pretty good arm, too, taking it out of bounds.
Shireman was a high school quarterback.
Right, exactly.
In Aurora, Nebraska.
If ever you want him to throw one, now's the time.
Shireman, the southpaw, tosses deep. The ball is knocked up in the air, and it's over. The officials are holding off for a moment to check the clock. Everybody wait.
Remember, when this ball hits out of bounds is when the clock should stop. So it's in the air, down. It's
Gene Steratore with us once again. Gene?
We definitely have time left, Ian. From what I saw, it's either 2/10 or 3. What we got to wait for now is continuously look and see naturally who was last to touch on this side. Right now, it's very difficult to discern one or the other. This is a better look, but I can't see anything definitive there. So the ruling on the court right now from this angle has got to stay to what we have. We don't have something indisputable to overturn that. But we've got to look. We see the time as well, Ian, and I think it's good to it's to be noted that if it is 3/10, we're into the touch. We're not into a catch and shoot if it would happen to go to Creighton in this situation.
Yeah, great point there, Gene. So this ends up, let's hypothetically just say it stays with Creighton, the ball goes down, and it's 2/10 or 1/10 of a second. Then, like you just said, you can't catch it, possess it, and shoot it. It's got to be a tap towards the basket.
But they still have to determine who touched it last. And on the second replay that we just saw, that might have been Kaluma's finger right at the tail end. It was Kaluma battling with a rope. On the pass from Shireman.
Yeah,
you see that?
It might be the fingertips. Could be correct on that one.
So watch Kaluma's right hand. Is he the last one to touch it there? Or was it a rope off the fingers? And now, Gene, you've seen 3 different angles, and we're all trying to still figure this out, including the officials.
No question, Ian. And look, this is what makes it difficult. We're looking for anything we can to make it indisputable. The ruling has to take precedent. I'm also looking to see if that clock, in fact, started immediately upon touch, too. So they could be looking at that as well. That's another element, right? We're going to officiate everything. So when that touch occurs, we have to make sure that that clock started immediately. And with tenths, we have that luxury to know that this should start, instantaneously. We should see tenths start to be reduced from that clock.
Hey, Gene, on the throw-in, just notice that Shireman's foot slid forward
I think he released the ball on that, so he didn't touch the floor.
Agreed, Jimmy. I think he was still airborne after it left his hand as well.
He's close.
That is close.
So we got a lot going on here. And meanwhile, San Diego State has a 1-point lead trying to get to the finish line.
And the ruling on the floor was whose ball?
They've determined it's over. For the first time in school history, San Diego State is going to the Final Four. A heartbreaking loss for Creighton. And it's Aztec madness. 57-56. They took out a stopwatch to get the official ruling. And San Diego State is heading to Houston.